time for another Pop Music Trends podcast, looking at the latest trends and talk about the music industry. Today, we're focusing on popnomics, the intersection of pop music and economics. Here are your hosts, James and Kelly, also known as Indie Girl.
Okay, so if you're listening to music today, streaming shows, scrolling TikTok, basically consuming any culture, you've probably noticed the music industry, especially pop. It feels, radically different. Even from just a few years back, the old ways seem kind of gone.
Completely gone. The economic models, the power structures, they've shifted dramatically.
Which brings us to the core question for this deep dive. How does a pop artist actually make a living? Like right now in 2025, from the ones just starting out to the global superstars. You're gonna try and break down the poponomics, the actual economics of pop too.
Yeah.
Understand how artists basically had to become what our sources are calling diversified startups.
And that's not just jargon, is it? That framing, diversified startup, it's like survival.
Seems like it.
Because the old reliable income stream, recorded music sales, it's on life support, frankly. We kind of have to start there with the reality of streaming money. Or the lack of it.
Yeah, let's hit you with the numbers straight away. Streaming is dominant, right?
Right.
Our sources say nearly 90% of global recorded revenue comes from streaming.
Massive number, 90%.
And this is the kicker. That huge pie gets sliced into these microscopic crumbs for the actual artists.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. 1 million Spotify plays sounds huge, right?
Yeah.
Like you've gone viral.
Yeah, sounds like a lot.
But that translates to what, maybe $3,000 to $5,000 gross.
Gross. So before the label takes its huge cut, before management fees, before the tax man.
For everything.
You're maybe getting enough for a month's rent in Nashville or LA, if you're lucky.
Precisely. And that basic math just lays out the problem, doesn't it? Streaming is how people listen. You have to be there.
Right.
Unavoidable. But you absolutely cannot build a sustainable career on that alone. It forces artists to find other ways. Multiple streams aren't a bonus anymore. They're mandatory.
Okay, so if we're not just counting sales, we're talking about something else. The sources call it attention economics. Is that the idea? If the money's not directly there, you need the eyeballs?
That's exactly it. The currency has shifted. It's less about units sold and more about how much attention you can command and, crucially, where you can direct that attention.
So how does that actually work? You're not waiting for a radio programmer anymore.
Nope. Success is now driven by social virality, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Reels. The algorithm is the gatekeeper now, if something pops off there.
Okay, but explain that connection. A 30-second clip goes viral. How does that turn into, actual income beyond maybe a small bump in Spotify plays?
Well, it's a feedback loop. That viral moment creates this algorithmic boost. Streams definitely spike, yes. But the key thing it does is generate immediate demand for the live show, for touring.
Ah, okay. So attention funnels directly into ticket sales.
That's the primary function, really, monetizing touring.
Right, touring, the sort of traditional big moneymaker. And for the huge artists, the stadium fillers, our sources definitely confirm it's still the biggest payoff. We're talking millions per show, potentially.
A top tier, it's massive.
But there's always a but. It's also the biggest risk, right? The most expensive part of the whole operation.
By far. It's the single most expensive thing in the pop world. People see the stage show, but they don't always grasp the sheer scale of the upfront investment.
What are we talking about? Beyond just paying the band?
Oh, way beyond. You've got custom lighting rigs, maybe hydraulics, dancers, choreographers, a huge road crew, 50 people, sometimes more. Then there's trucking, buses, insurance on all that specialized gear.
Yeah.
The costs are astronomical. They eat into those potential profits very, very quickly.
So a mid-level artist tries to put on a huge show like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
They could go broke pretty fast if tickets don't sell exactly as planned.
Absolutely. It's a huge gamble. And that risk forces adaptation, especially for artists who aren't quite at that stadium level yet.
So what do? Scale back?
Yeah, scale back dramatically. We see a lot more focus on what you might call micro tours. Smaller venues, shorter runs, hitting key cities where they know they have a fan base.
Or festivals, I guess.
Or festivals, exactly. That's a huge one.
Because the festival pays the big costs. The stage, the sound, the venue.
Right. The festival organizer covers the massive overhead. The artist gets a guaranteed fee, plus exposure to a huge crowd, and crucially, a chance to sell merch.
Okay, merch. And you also mentioned those high-margin fan things, VIP packages?
Yes. VIP experiences, meet and greets, exclusive access, these have exploded.
And they cost a lot more than a standard ticket.
They do, because the actual extra cost to add, say, a photo op is pretty small for the artist, but the perceived value for a dedicated fan is huge. It generates really important high-margin income.
And builds loyalty, presumably.
Exactly. It serves that core purpose of building and monetizing the relationship with your most dedicated fans, which is like a recurring theme across the whole modern pop business model. It's about the relationship.
That makes sense. Okay, so relationship attention. Let's talk about another layer. How the music itself makes money outside of just streams or sales. Sync licensing.
Sync licensing, yeah, this has become absolutely crucial. It's not just like a nice bonus anymore. It's a key income driver for many.
Sync licensing being music used in movies, TV shows, ads, games.
Exactly, getting your songs synchronized with visual media. And the shift here, when you compare it to streaming, it's kind of staggering.
Give us the comparison. How staggering?
Okay, so a single well-placed sync deal.
Yeah.
Let's say your song is the theme for a big Netflix show or it's in a global car commercial. That one placement can genuinely bring in more money for the artist and the writers than an entire year's worth of streaming royalties from all platforms combined.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
One ad campaign versus millions, maybe hundreds of millions of streams.
Yeah. It completely changes the game, doesn't it? Strategically for an artist and their team.
It must. Like, are you writing songs hoping they chart, or are you writing songs that sound like something a music supervisor for an insurance ad might need?
Well, often it's both, right? Which creates its own tensions. But yeah, chasing syncs means building relationships with music supervisors, making sure your rights are all cleared and easy to license.
And maybe making some compromises, like if the brand isn't a perfect fit.
Potentially.
Yeah.
It involves complex trade-offs sometimes. Creative control versus a big paycheck.
Right. Okay, speaking of brands, let's talk merchandise. Because that's also completely changed, hasn't it? It's not just a band t-shirt anymore.
Or totally. It's evolved into full-on lifestyle branding. The merch isn't just a souvenir. It's like an extension of the artist's whole world, their identity.
So what kind of stuff are we seeing?
We're seeing artists launch, limited edition streetwear lines, collaborations with high-end designers, jewelry, even things like fragrance lines or home goods sometimes.
So the goal is keep fans buying stuff even when there isn't new music out.
Exactly. Convert that initial fandom into a long-term consumer relationship that goes way beyond just the songs. It's about buying into the artist's culture.
Turning cultural influence into actual commerce. And brand collaborations seem more integrated now, too, not just holding up a product.
Definitely. It's less about straight endorsements and more about genuine creative partnerships. Think about the examples and the sources.
Like Billie Eilish with Nike?
Yeah, Billie Eilish doing an eco-friendly Nike line.
Yeah.
Or Olivia Rodrigo tying in with skincare or makeup brands that fit her vibe.
It makes the artist seem more like a collaborator, a tastemaker.
Right. It positions them as part of the product's story, reflecting their personal brand, maybe their values. It's all woven together. The monetization feels more organic, maybe.
Organic, but still very business savvy. Okay, but all this stuff syncs, big tours, brand deals, it sounds like you still need gatekeepers, right? Labels, promoters, brand managers. How do artists get more direct control?
Okay. That's where direct-to-fan, or D2F, platforms come in. This is really about artists taking back ownership, owning the audience, owning the relationship.
So we're talking things like Patreon, Bandcamp, maybe even running your own Discord server.
Exactly those. Patreon, Bandcamp, dedicated fan clubs, Discord, places where fans pay the artist directly.
And what's the advantage there? Just cutting out the middleman.
That's part of it, but it's also about stability. These platforms generate predictable, monthly subscription income, instead of relying on tiny, unpredictable fractions of pennies per stream.
You get a regular monthly fee from your core fans.
Right. You offer them exclusive stuff, early access to music, behind-the-scenes content, private Q&As, maybe special merch, and they pay you, say, $5, $10, $20 a month.
This sounds like that 1,000 True Fans idea.
It's exactly that principle. Kevin Kelly's idea. You don't necessarily need millions of casual listeners. You just need maybe 1,000 truly dedicated fans willing to consistently support you financially.
And that can be enough to sustain a career, especially for smaller or mid-tier artists.
For many, yes. It allows them to build a sustainable living without needing massive mainstream hits or relying entirely on, big corporate machinery.
Okay, so there's the money side. But you mentioned control. Our sources talk about data and freedom being key benefits of D2F. Why is data so important here?
Because when you run your own D2F platform, you get the data. Streaming platforms like Spotify or Apple Music, They keep that data mostly to themselves.
What kind of data are we talking about?
Really valuable stuff. Who your fans are, where they live, what they buy, how often they engage with your content. Detailed stuff.
And knowing that helps. How?
It lets you make much smarter business decisions. You know exactly where your biggest fan clusters are, so you can plan tours more efficiently. You can target your social media ads way more effectively.
And tailor product offerings?
Precisely. Maybe you see your top 5,000 fans engage most with your acoustic content, so you offer them an exclusive acoustic EP. Or you run a limited drop of a $200 jacket just to your highest spending Patreon tier, knowing it'll likely sell out. It maximizes profit and minimizes waste.
And the freedom part.
Creatively, it's huge. If your core D2F audience loves your experimental side project, you don't have to chase whatever TikTok trend is big this week just to please the algorithm.
Because your income is more stable and comes directly from people who already like what you do.
Exactly. You're accountable primarily to your loyal supporters, not to the whims of a platform or a label exec focused only on the next viral hit. You retain creative control.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. We've got streaming as the base layer, but it pays poorly. Then touring, sync, merch, brand deals, D2F subscriptions. It's a real mix.
A mosaic, really.
What's the big takeaway from looking at all these pieces? How should we think about the modern pop artist's career?
The conclusion seems pretty clear across the board. The artist has to operate like a diversified startup. There's no other way.
Not just a musician anymore.
Not just a musician. Revenue isn't driven by one big album release every 2 years. It comes from managing this whole portfolio of smaller, interconnected income streams, constantly juggling and optimizing them.
So the whole pop economy has shifted. It's not really about selling copies of music anymore.
No, it's about monetizing attention, monetizing culture, community, access, lifestyle, across all these different channels simultaneously.
And the artists who succeed are the ones who can think like CEOs, content creators.
Pretty much. Multi-channel CEOs who are also artists.
Yeah.
It demands incredible business sense, constant engagement, being always on. It's a lot.
It sounds exhausting, honestly, but also maybe necessary. Which brings us back to that tension from the start. This diversification, this startup model. It's a response to the low streaming payouts, right?
It is. It's adaptation born out of necessity.
So is this it? Is this the permanent solution? Is this model actually healthy long-term?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because even with all this incredible hustle and diversification, you still hear warnings. Our sources mention veteran artists, people like Shirley Manson from Garbage,
Yeah, what did she say?
calling the current financial state of music entirely unsustainable, despite everything we've just discussed.
Wow, that really puts it in perspective. So we spent this whole deep dive talking about how artists manage to survive.
Managed to piece together a living, despite the core revenue stream being fundamentally flawed.
So this diversified startup model, it's clever, it's adaptive.
It's brilliant adaptation, no doubt. But the lingering question we have to leave you with is this. Is this complex, demanding, attention-driven structure the final form?
Yeah.
The solution? Or is it just a really sophisticated coping mechanism, a way to patch over a system where the primary way people consume music doesn't actually pay the creators enough?
Is it sustainable or just a sophisticated bandage on a deeper wound?
Exactly. That's something to chew on as this landscape keeps changing.